Yo, everybody, welcome back to the motherfucking crazy, sexy, cool Minority Sports Report RASSLIN edition. Woo! Niggas is tired of shit. I'm your motherfucking boy, Big Black.
I'm your boy, Game Dollar.
Game Dollar, let's just jump right into it, homie.
Alright, gonna fly through Dynamite and Rampage because we know we want to talk about Double or Nothing.
Yes.
So Dynamite, they had their 3-year anniversary show. Kicked it off with the cage match. One of the stipulations for Wardlow getting his hands on MJF. He had to beat Shawn Spears in the cage with MJF as a special referee. And yeah, he got that shit done, obviously, or else it wouldn't have been a match of Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So Wardlow beat Shawn Spears. Then we had Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston taking on and defeating Private Party. We had the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. FTR successfully defended against Roppongi Vice, which is Rocky Romero and Chuck Taylor. No, not Chuck Taylor.
Trent Beretta.
Trent Beretta. Wrong best friend.
Wrong best friend.
We had a triple threat match, which is kind of a lead into the match at the pay-per-view. It's a triple threat tag match at the pay-per-view. This was a triple threat match between Swerve Strickland, Jungle Boy, and Ricky Starks. Swerve got the win in this one, so you got that little advantage going into their pay-per-view tag team triple threat match. And we had the Owen Hart Foundation semifinals to end Dynamite. We had Dr. Britt Baker defeated Tony Storm, which I kind of had a feeling was going to happen. And in the main event, we had Samoa Joe defeated Kyle O'Reilly. So Britt Baker moved on to the finals, and she faces the winner of Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander, which we'll cover in a second. And then Samoa Joe is going to be taking on Adam Cole. So jumping on the Rampage,
which we'll cover in a minute.
Yeah. Jumping over to Rampage, Bryan Danielson defeated Matt Sydal. The Young Bucks, who came out dressed up like the Hardy Boys, even brought out Gangrel. They defeated the team of Taylor Rust and John Cruz. I didn't actually get to rewatch Rampage because of some bullshit, but from what I heard after the match, they attacked Gangrel, which caused the Hardys to come out and save them.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Then we had Dante Martin defeating Max Caster. And in the main event, the last semifinal for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, Ruby Soho defeated Chris Statlander, like I called it, because Chris Statlander was a replacement. So I kind of had a feeling she wasn't going to get the win. And Ruby Soho moves on to face Dr. Britt Baker at the pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view.
Jumping into the pay-per-view, like we said earlier, Wardlow went through all his stipulations, and now he got his hands on MJF. This was essentially a squash match, if you don't count the 10 minutes that MJF ran from Wardlow in the beginning. He tried to fake some kind of injury. I think he reached for his knee or some shit.
Yeah, it was his knee, yeah.
And then while he was doing that, he pulled that dynamite ring out of his trunks. But what he didn't realize is the ref and Wardlow were both watching him over his shoulder. And as he slides it on his finger, the ref slides it right back off and takes it. And that's when Wardlow powerbombed him about 9-10 times in a row.
I got 12. I don't know.
Was it 12?
I think
I lost count.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, I lost count. But afterward, well, obviously he powerbombed about a shitload of times, let's say. And then Wardlow picked up the win. It's funny because after the match, they started loading MJF onto the stretcher, and then fans were chanting, "You deserve it." I don't know if it was for MJF or for Wardlow, but either way, it was great.
It worked.
And then he made it. And then as Wardlow left the ring, he made his way up the ramp. Tony Schiavone met him, and they gave him his Wardlow was all elite graphic and all that shit. And he did some screaming, and then that was the end of that.
Yeah, it was good times. Lots of power bombs.
Yeah. Next, we had the Hardy Boys. Well, the Hardys. I keep saying the Hardy Boys. The Hardys taking on the Young Bucks in what everybody was calling the dream match. that I actually don't think lived up to the hype. But what can you do? The Bucks came out dressed up like Elvis.
They were like 50.
Yeah. Bucks came out dressed like Elvis. Fucking Brandon Cutler looked like Tony the Tiger. But yeah, it seemed Jeff Hardy seemed a bit out of it early in the match. I think I don't know if you remember, he went for that poetry in motion where he does the run and the jump in the corner, and Matt Jackson kicked him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might have really got caught there, because after that he looked a little out of it. That's like right after that is when he botched that jump up to the top rope where he tried to do the whisper in the wind, and he almost fucked it up.
At that point, his boots were completely unstrapped too, which was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. I just think he got caught and was just kind of knocked silly for a bit, because he eventually recovered, and I mean he didn't look half bad afterward. But it got a little shaky right there in the beginning part of the match.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bucks, they try to set up Jeff Hardy for a move on the steel steps on the outside. Jeff was able to reverse it and then hit the swanton on Matt Jackson on top, off the top rope onto the steps on the outside. Then they eventually worked their way into the ring. Matt Hardy hit the twist of fate, and then Jeff hit his signature swanton, and that's how they picked up the big win. Like I said, didn't live up to the hype, but still a good match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Could have been better, but I mean, we were just all expecting bodies flying everywhere, but
more spots.
I think they had to switch things up on the fly because of Jeff. I think he really got knocked.
That was.
You could even hear Matt during the match. Matt was like calling out all the shit for him.
Yeah. I didn't notice that until you said that, but he definitely was.
Yeah. So something was definitely up there. Maybe we'll see an article or something come up this week, but definitely interested to see what happened. Next, we had another match that I kind of wasn't too thrilled about. The TBS Championship match, Jade Cargill and Anna Jay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a good match between two fairly new wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're still learning and shit like that, but they're doing good. Mm-hmm. Anna Jay was able to stop some interference from the baddies, Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet. Then Mark Sterling came out and tried to slide the crutch over to Jade, but Anna Jay was able to get it and then use it to, I think she hit her with it in the stomach and then hit her with the Russian leg sweep.
Yeah, and then she pulled back and trying to hold her some shit with it.
Yeah. But she was only able to get the 2 count for that. John Silver came out and took out Mark Sterling with a nasty brain buster on the floor.
Yeah, he did.
And then right after that happened, Anna Jay was kind of distracted by that. And that's when Jade Cargill hit her with the Eye of the Storm. But Anna Jay was able to kick out of that shit. She eventually was able to, Jade went for the Jaded, that front face slam that she does as her finisher. But Anna Jay reversed it and got her in the Queen Slayer rear naked choke. But Anna Jay was able to shake her off.
Yeah.
And they started battling. I forgot how they got up there, but Anna Jay and Jade Cargill started battling at the top rope. And that's when Stokely Hathaway came down, who we had no idea who the fuck this guy was, but apparently he went by Malcolm Bivens in WWE.
Had to Google him.
Yeah. And Anna Jay was obviously distracted by that. And that's when Jade Cargill hit her with the Avalanche Jaded, which is basically the Jaded off the top rope. Was able to pick up the win. It's now 32-0. Reason I wasn't too into this match, if you're trying to build Jade as this beast, 32-0, going undefeated, why do you need so many interferences versus Anna Jay when she cleanly beat Marina Shafir, who's much tougher than Anna Jay?
Yeah, it's still adding that heel element. That's I feel you on that.
I know I get the whole heel thing, but they're just relying on the interferences. I know you're trying to work the baddies into that, but for a pay-per-view, they should have let her win clean.
Yeah, I don't think the baddies are going to be a thing much longer, honestly. Like, where the fuck are they going with that?
You think this is going to end up like the Nightmare Collective?
Not as bad as the Nightmare Collective. But we'll see after these few weeks because they lead up to the pay-per-view and then like the new storyline starts. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. But I'm like, y'all are just cheerleaders. Like, what the fuck at this point,
Yeah, I mean it's a win for Kiera Hogan because she was kind of banished to Dark and Elevation,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of a demotion for Red Velvet now that she was having a nice little run, and then you kind of like, all right, now you're under this bitch. You're just gonna be a goon basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't mind the baddies. I just think if you're billing Jade to be this unstoppable force, you don't need 3 fucking people trying to interfere for her.
Right. You don't need
Maybe
that.
I could see Mark Sterling interference. That would have worked for the storytelling of the match. You didn't need the baddies to get in there too.
Nah,
You could do one or the other. But yeah, that was my beef with that. But anyway, after the match, Jade and the baddies they tried to attack Anna Jay, but Chris Statlander came running down and held them off, but they were still outnumbered. And that's when somebody else's music hit, who we had no idea who it could be. And then Athena came out, who went by the name Ember Moon in WWE.
Yeah.
She ended up siding with Anna Jay and Chris Statlander.
Shit was crazy. That's how that match ended.
That's how that shit ended.
It was like,
word to your mother.
Wrong best friend. No. Oh, you got a delivery?
Fireworks.
Mm.
Don't hear that shit?
Oh, I do now. I thought you were hitting your table and shit.
No, that's fireworks.
Oh shit!
Fireworks.
It's almost that time. Yeah.
But next we had a trios match. We had House of Black taking on Death Triangle. Death Triangle came out with a little boy dressed like Penta, but he was doing Phoenix's like entrance moves, so I couldn't tell whose son it really was.
One of their kids.
I'm putting my money on Penta since he was dressed like Penta.
Right.
That's but yeah, it was funny. And then Pac during the intro, the entrance, Pac also had a mask that was half Penta, half Phoenix, which was dope. He didn't wear it during the match, but he wore it in the entrance.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
But yeah, this match was basically the spot fest we were expecting in the Hardys Young Bucks match. So many spots, like I couldn't even write them all down because
dude, it was too much
for hours.
It was too much. It was great.
I'll try to cover some of the big ones. So we had Phoenix trying to go for the tope suicida off the top, through the ropes, but Buddy Matthews almost caught him midair to suplex him, but he dropped him, so he had to pick him up and suplex him, and that was on the floor and the outside. And this is what kicked off probably the biggest spot shit of the match, because after that happened, Pac came out of nowhere with some kind of twisting flip over the top rope that took out Buddy Matthews. Then Malachi Black hit a moonsault off the top rope that took out Pac. Then Penta hit a springboard flip off the second rope to the outside. Off the second rope over the top rope to the outside, taking out Malachi. And then big ass Brody King tried to flip over the top rope, got caught up somehow, and he still ended up taking out Pac and Penta. But JR's line was hilarious. He said he assaulted the ring apron on the way down because he kind of botched to getting caught up on the top rope.
Yeah, he did.
That shit was still crazy.
Oh yeah,
seeing that big ass dude fly like that.
Oh yeah, he makes me look tiny.
Yeah, and then they did their Dante's Inferno, which that's the new name for this move. I think this is the second time they've done it, and the first time they named it. But basically, Buddy Matthews picked up Ray Phoenix like he was going to suplex him, and just kind of tossed him over to Brody King, who caught him midair and then planted him with a nasty spike pile driver.
Dude, that shit was sick.
Yeah, it was nasty. But Penta and Pac who were being held back by Buddy Matthews and I think it was Brody, whoever didn't get the pin, Malachi or Brody, I forgot who, but they ended up getting pushed into whoever was pinning, so that stopped the 3 count from happening, saved the match. After that, Penta jumped off Phoenix's back, I remember, on the ring apron, and hit the Canadian Destroyer on Buddy Matthews on the ring apron. That was nasty.
That shit hurt. Oh, that shit was so tight.
Yeah, and then Pac jumped up to the top rope. He was ready to hit Malachi Black with the black arrow, but all of a sudden the lights cut out. And when they come back on, Julia Hart, dressed in all black, standing in front of Pac. She sprayed the mist in his eyes. Then she ducks out of the ring. Malachi Black was able to hit his black mass, that spinning heel kick, taking out Pac and sealing the win for the House of Black.
All the way from the Netherlands.
Yep, and finally paid off. Julia Hart joining the House of Black.
And this guy's been calling it. We suspected it, but Skame officially called it months ago. Go back and watch
it. From the first interaction,
yeah.
The House of Black with Julia Hart, I was like, yeah, she's joining.
Yeah, it was with the Varsity Blondes. She got spit, and the Skame was just like, yeah, she's about to be part of House of Black. And here we are, like 3 months later. So here, it just worked out.
It's a long, slow process, but we got there. Then we had...
Got it.
Now we get to the Owen Hart Foundation finals. Why did I write semifinals? That's definitely the final. Oh, copy and paste. That's why.
Copy and paste, baby. Save time.
So we had Adam Cole and Samoa Joe in the men's final, where it was a good match. Great wrestling match. No like crazy spots or anything like that. But as expected, we had some interference from Bobby Fish. Didn't directly lead to Cole getting the win, but it did provide enough distraction for where Cole was able to hit I think he super kicked Samoa Joe's shoulder, which was injured for the match, and then hit him with a super kick to the face, which dropped him to the knee, and then hit him with 2 more super kicks before that boom knee to the back of the head. And he was able to beat Joe clean, well, kind of clean, with that slight interference from Bobby Fish. To win the men's side of the tournament. After the match, no ceremony or anything because we were still waiting for the women's side, which was the very next match. We had Dr. Britt Baker, who had come out with the guitarist from Fozzy. I forgot his name. Forgot to look it up too. But he played her theme song on the way out. And then Ruby Soho outdid Britt Baker.
Yeah,
Came out with a full-fledged performance by the band Rancid.
Yeah,
which I found out. So the reason that she has that song, that's an actual Rancid song. There was no changes made specifically for Ruby Soho.
Really?
So basically, when she was in WWE, her name was Ruby Riott, and when they released her, the lead singer of Rancid called her up and was like, "Yo, wherever you end up, you should change the name to Ruby Soho and use our song."
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's fucking tight.
Yeah. So that's how that's what I read. That may be half true or whatever, but that's what I read online. That's what the internet told me. And they're undefeated.
The internet is undefeated, but
it's possible.
I doubt it though. I fucking doubt it. I doubt
it. Yeah. I seen the lead singer, I guess, is a huge wrestling fan. So that's why that happened. But a couple spots in this match, nothing too crazy, just like the men's side, nothing out of the usual, no crazy fucking flipping shit with these guys.
Solid wrestling. Ladies.
But Soho, she hit a nice shotgun drop kick off the apron to the floor. And when she landed flat on her back. When she kind of held her back at first, but then went straight to the ribs, which ended up being sold throughout the match. But yeah, Soho went for Britt Baker went for the victory. No, Ruby Soho went for the victory roll, where you sit on their shoulders and you roll through and pin them. But when she got to, was it a 2 count? I think
it was a 2.
Britt reversed it and was able to pin Soho to steal the win and beat Ruby. But it also was almost exactly how Owen beat Bret Hart at WrestleMania back in the day.
Damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but when Bret was on the shoulders, he went to do the roll. Instead of going and getting like a 2 count and reversing it, Owen just stopped it and pinned him. So it's similar, but not exactly the same finish.
Deep cut, hell yeah, dog.
Yeah, I remember them mentioning it during the broadcast. So when I went back and was taking my notes, rewatching it, I looked it up and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, it's almost exactly the same."
Oh, but shit, that's tight.
After that match, we had the ceremony. Tony Khan brought out Martha Hart and Dr. Martha Hart. I'm sorry. She came out, got a nice Owen chant going, And then we got a thank you, Martha chant.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, great. She gave a great speech. Presented Britt Baker and Adam Cole the new belts for the Owen Hart Foundation, which they were fucking beautiful belts.
Beautiful.
Adam Cole got his. It's the same belt, but Adam Cole's got his on a black strap, and Britt hers is on a pink one. And then they got to share. Well, they live in the same house, I'm assuming, so they share in the Owen Cup, is what I'm assuming they called it, because that's what they said on the broadcast. But yeah, they're gonna have their names be the first etched on that cup, and it seems like this is gonna be a yearly tournament.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Martha Hart was wearing some kind of weird like derby hat.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say the same shit.
Yeah, she said that she wants it to be a thing, so she wants like all the women to wear hats, like crazy hats next year. So yeah, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, that's just tight.
Nice tournament. I really enjoyed it. Great to see Martha Hart back after all the bullshit she had to deal with the WWE.
God, for real, man. Oh yeah.
Next mixed trios match. We had Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Conti taking on Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zant. Ty Conti came out dressed like Disney's Maleficent.
Fucking fire, by the way.
Sammy was, I don't know who the fuck he was supposed to be. He came out wearing some weird feathery collared robe.
He was a crow. I don't know.
Whatever. But yeah, they all came out. Sammy, Ty, and then Frankie Kazarian, they all came out with the UFC belts that they stole from ATT, which I guess was a segment on Rampage.
It was, yeah.
Where they did a smash and grab. Well, I don't know if it was a smash and grab or whatever, but they stole belts from ATT.
Pretty much. They broke in and just stole a bunch of shit.
Yeah. But the story of the match was Sammy and Ty making out and like being horny all over each other, and Frankie Kazarian arguing with them. Yeah, Frankie Kazarian arguing with them the entire match. At one point, Kazarian had the crossface chicken wing locked in on Scorpio Sky in the corner, and Sammy Guevara tagged himself in and then did this like weird strut before he got in the ring, which pissed Kazarian off.
So stupid.
But yeah, so after that, what else? Paige Van Zant. She looked a little stiff. First match, it's kind of expected, but she looked pretty good now.
Definitely. Yeah, she got the fundamentals down.
She hit a fucking Michinoku driver, which is insane for somebody in their first match to hit. That seems like a dangerous move to trust a rookie with.
She nailed it.
Yeah, dropping somebody flat on their head and neck. She nailed it though. It was nice. But yeah, so Sammy and Ty, at some point, I don't remember how it happened, but they were making out in the middle of the ring, and they weren't paying attention to anything. They got surrounded by Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zant. And then when they realized that they were surrounded, they tried to call Frankie Kazarian for backup. He jumps in the ring, flips them off, and says, "Eat shit, you son of a bitch." And then he gets out of the ring and lets them get beat down. So a little bit after that shit happened, Frankie and Ty started arguing about something. I think he tagged. He did a hard tag on Ty to get himself in there, and she said you can't do that shit or whatever, getting in his face. And Sammy Guevara tried to set him up for a super kick from behind, but he seen it coming. He ducked out of the way, and Sammy super kicked the shit out of Ty.
It was great.
Took her out of the match. And then while Kazarian was distracted, he got super kicked by Ethan Page. And then Scorpio Sky was able to hit the TKO on Kazarian to pick up the big win for them. And the stipulation to this match was if they won, Sammy Guevara and Frankie Kazarian can never challenge Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship as long as he's holding it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Skipping forward real quick, Dante Martin made the challenge after a few segments in that pay-per-view. But moving on.
Yep, thanks for ruining that.
Oh, nope, sorry.
Delete. Bitch. So after that, we had a match with Kyle O'Reilly and Darby Allin, which I kind of didn't even realize this was on the pay-per-view. But apparently it was set up for Darby to get revenge on Kyle O'Reilly for injuring Sting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this one, one of the like early moments, Darby tried to do his crazy full speed tope suicida, and he tried to do it through the middle and bottom rope, and he kind of got hung up on the rope and landed hard on his head.
Hard. He did like a fucking cartwheel out the ring,
Yeah,
bro. Like, that shit was scary.
dude. The speed he had, like the way he just flipped, it just happened so fast.
Oh man,
so fucking fast. But he was able to recover. He ended up going for another tope suicida on the other side of the ring. But this one, Kyle O'Reilly caught him midair and had him locked in the guillotine.
Kind of sounded something like that when they hit the floor.
Letting off out there.
Letting off.
After that, Kyle O'Reilly was able to hit Darby with a few soccer kicks, and then a flying knee to the back ribs area. And that's how he picked up the win over Darby. Seemed a little lackluster. But for a match that I didn't even know was going to be on the card, who gives a fuck?
Because if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be two people, Darby and Sting. Not that Sting was wrestling, and then Kyle O'Reilly and someone else. But since Sting got injured, they just made it into a singles match, and that's how that ended
so
up
it's
happening.
him and Bobby Fish,
Probably, most likely.
Sting. Yeah. I still don't even remember that match being made for it, but whatever. Next, we had the AEW Women's World Championship match. I don't have many notes for this, but this was an amazing, just like pure wrestling match. Which the first time I've ever heard it, but we got a "This is wrestling" chant.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too, Doug. I never heard that shit on AEW.
Yeah,
that they did it for the women's, and it was true. Like, nigga, oh my god, what a match!
Yeah,
what a match.
One of the things I was reading about not a lot of people, but the article that I read is they said that this is the best female technical wrestling match that we've had in AEW. I mean, I know we've had some banger like lights out matches and shit like that, street fights and shit, but this is definitely the best pure wrestling match we've gotten so far from the women's division.
Oh, it was great. It was great. You never catch that in WWE.
Yeah. After a suplex off the top rope, Thunder Rosa was able to hit her Fire Thunder driver and picked up the big win over Serena Deeb. And like I said, amazing pure wrestling match.
Yes.
Just because I don't have a lot of notes on it doesn't mean it was shitty.
No, for real. It was just a lot of wrestling.
Mad technical.
So many reversals. Oh my god. So many holds. Just like, it was just so fucking good. So fucking good.
Great match. The next match, there were just so many fucking, it was just pure mayhem to the point where it's like you couldn't follow everything at once. Even when I rewatched it, I couldn't follow everything. We had the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Oh, it was crazy.
Which was basically this year's Stadium Stampede. We had the Blackpool Combat Club, which is John Moxley and Brian Danielson teaming up with Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. They took on the Jericho Appreciation Society. So it's 5-on-5.
Crazy.
And this fucking match, the Blackpool Combat Club and Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, they all came down through the crowd while Moxley's Wild Thing was playing. The Jericho Appreciation Society met them in the stands, and that's how the match started. They started fighting right there in the stands. Just people, and it wasn't like they were in one group. They were scattered throughout, throughout the stands. So it's just they were cutting from one thing to the other. It was hard to keep track. But basically, while all this mayhem was going on, Moxley's Wild Thing was playing the entire time.
The whole time.
They eventually fought their way over to like the production area where Jericho picked up the soundboard and smashed it to get the song to stop.
That's so good.
But yeah,
I don't know if you noticed, but when he unplugged the shit, there was like a record scratch. I was like, that was fucking great. Whoever timed that shit did it perfectly, bro. It was fucking awesome.
I didn't notice that. I gotta go back and check that after this. Shit. That's funny. But yeah, like I said, it's just so many spots because it just kept cutting from one thing to another. Santana and Ortiz hit a street sweeper, which is like you have somebody on top of your shoulders, and then the other dude does like a flip and neck breakers them. But they did it to Hager through two tables on the outside of the ring. Moxley hit Jericho with the fucking the camera arm, the jib camera, whatever that
Oh
shit's
yeah, that's right. Yep.
called. Fucking swung that shit right into his face.
Oh man,
I think
so much
Danielson
shit.
bounced somebody's head off of a camera too.
I think
Or
it was
somebody,
the meathead, yo, because he was cut like badly
yeah, somebody got
right
their head
after
smashed
that
off of a camera
started.
twice. Um,
Oh man,
what else? Damn, so much shit. Garcia hit a
dude,
power
there's a
driver on Ortiz on the steel steps.
yeah. Oh god, that
Uh,
was gross.
what else?
Ladder.
At some point, I don't know how it happened. I don't even remember. Even when I watched the replay, I was looking for it. Like, oh, I got to see how they got covered in this shit, and I still missed it. But at some point, Eddie Kingston and Matt Menard, the guy from the JAS that I hate, like you said, he was covered in blood. But at some point, they got covered in ketchup and mustard.
Yes. So there was
Yeah,
a quick clip, and he threw him onto a condiment table, and then just like started spraying mustard and shit all over him. But it was like 5-10 seconds max.
Because I remember
like
they were fighting in that area.
Yeah.
And I just remember the next thing I know, he's just covered in mustard. I was like, yo, what the where the fuck did it happen? And even in the rewatch, I missed it.
It was so small, like barely caught it. It was, yeah, that's what happened.
I would have been puking. I fucking hate mustard.
I love it. He's a ketchup kind of guy.
Even ketchup. I hate ketchup all over me. I'm probably gonna throw up. But anyway, Moxley at one point threw a full cooler of water and ice, like bottled water, at Jericho's head.
That cooler was for the Bell Girl, the ring announcers, like where they all said
Justin Robinson,
that was their shit. Yeah.
Moxley, he got back in the ring and was able to, he took the fucking top rope apart and started beating Jericho up with it.
Yeah, he did.
Somewhere off in the distance in the arena, Santana and Ortiz hit double splashes off a giant ladder through two people from the Jericho Appreciation Society. I couldn't tell who they were.
Yeah, it was great though.
Danielson had Jericho in the crossface. Looked like Jericho was ready to tap. Eddie Kingston comes down with a fucking gas can and dumps it all over Danielson. Well, he's meant to dump it on Jericho, but Danielson happened to be in the way. So as he's dumping it, he kind of rolls out of the way, but obviously he still gets gas on him. He goes to light it, and Danielson slaps the lighter out of Eddie Kingston's hands. They start fighting. Moxley jumps in, tries to separate him because those are his boys. But Jericho was able to take them out with the chairs. With the chair, he took out, I think, everybody except for, was it Danielson that he had?
I don't even remember, dude. There's so much shit going on.
I think it was, I'll say it, he had Jericho. Jericho had Danielson in the walls of Jericho, and then he switched it to a single leg crab while Jake Hager choked him with the top rope. And Danielson ended up going unconscious, and that's how the Jericho Appreciation Society got the win.
Got the dub.
Yeah, just fucking pure mayhem.
It was crazy.
After that, Andrade got a new business partner. He called in former stablemate in a Mexico promotion. I forgot which one it was. And who's also a former Ring of Honor world champion. I guess his name is Roosh, which is spelled like Rush, but they call him Roosh. So yeah, that was that. You already mentioned Dante Martin challenged Scorpio Sky. Then we had the AEW World Tag Team Championship triple threat match. We had Jurassic Express taking on Team Taz, which is Ricky Starks and Keith and Powerhouse Hobbs, and then Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Jungle Boy hit 2 straight tope suicidas.
Crazy.
And then on the third, Keith Lee caught him and then used Jungle Boy to he power bombed Jungle Boy onto Luchasaurus twice.
Yeah.
Later on, Swerve was able to hit a springboard moonsault off of Keith Lee's chest, which we've seen him do before. Still amazing to see that.
Exactly.
Keith Lee, his big ass hit a fucking flip over the top rope to take out Jurassic Express and Hobbs.
It's crazy.
It seems like they're trying to work Christian fucking things up for Jurassic Express because twice in this match he tried to stop interference, which ended up distracting Jungle Boy and getting like near falls.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
right. One of them was Starks was able to hit the spear for a 2 count. got pissed off, hit him with the Rochambeau, hit him with, for another 2 count. But then Swerve and Keith Lee hit one of their new moves, which they're calling Swerve in Their Glory, which is basically Keith Lee powerbomb somebody while Swerve like assists you down with his feet, stomps you down in the chest.
That shit's crazy.
But Jungle Boy, no, Hobbs, I'm sorry, they did that to Jungle Boy. Hobbs was able to jump in and stop the pin from happening to keep the match going. And again, Christian tried to stop Starks from using the belt this time on Jungle Boy, which again distracted Jungle Boy for another 2 count by, was it Swerve, I think? I don't remember. But anyway, it was Swerve, because then Jurassic Express hit the Thoracic Express on Swerve to get the win. So they are still tag team champions.
Still tag team champs.
Yeah. And I just have, I don't know if they're going to have Cage turn heel, or if Jungle Boy's just going to be like, yo, you keep costing us, like almost costing us our shit, or he's going to cost them and they're going to turn on him.
Yeah, that's when they lose
the belt. Seems like, it seems like they're just forcing that in. So we'll see what happens there. And then the main event, the AEW World Championship match, Hangman Adam Page defending his belt against CM Punk. Started off the match, we had some early hard chops, not on like Keith Lee or Samoa Joe level, but they landed a couple hard chops each. They almost botched the suplex off the top rope, but Punk was able to recover and kind of pull off a fast, quick suplex off the top rope to save it. Hangman tried to do moonsault off the top rope to the floor, and when he landed, it looked like he had legitimately like jammed his knee on the landing.
Yeah, that shit was gross.
Which kind of worked into the match a bit, because when he tried to go for the buckshot, I think it was more like it was just the timing was off for CM Punk to reverse it. So it just looked slower or whatever, and they tried to play it off like, oh, his knee. It was his knee. He didn't get the buckshot lariat. But Punk was able to recover and recover from like his own knee injury. He botched 2 buckshot lariats that he tried to do on his own because of that. I don't even know if it was real, we'll say quote unquote knee injury. Hangman tried to still go to sleep, but he was only able to get some 2 counts. And then Punk was able to get to go to sleep on Hangman after Hangman thought about using the belt when the ref was down, but he decided to be the good guy and not do it. And Punk was able to counter his attempt at a buckshot lariat for the go to sleep.